Hello everyone, welcome to first video of my Agentic AI series. Today we are going to discuss how Agentic AI is useful for engineers. So every few years something genuinely changes how software gets built. Like REST API changed how services communicate, Kafka changed how systems handle events. Like this, Agentic AI is that kind of shift. But most explanations you find in the internet are either too vague or too academic. In this video, I will show you exactly what Agentic AI is, how it works mechanically, and why it requires you to think about system design differently. So, without wasting any time, let's get started. So, first we need to understand what Agentic AI is not. Agentic AI is not a chatbot. In chatbot, you can send a message, you can get some reply, done. One input and one output. It is stateless from the system perspective. It is also not an RAG. So what RAG does? It fetches document, stuff into prompt, get the response, still one input, one output, just with better context. Agentic AI is different in a way that it works in plan, act, observe and repeat model. So to understand Agentic AI in detail, we need to understand about agent loop. Agent loop is something like this. We have a goal, that goal is achieved through a plan, and that plan gives us some act to do, and those acts are done and the results are observed. Once the results are observed, we see that goal is achieved or not. If goal is achieved, then done. If goal is not achieved, then we have to plan, act and observe result again. So here we define the boundaries, what tools exist, what they can do, when to stop, and the agent loop works and achieves our goal. Now we will understand in detail how agents use tools. So tool is a function we define, and then my agent decides when to call it with what arguments. Tools can be DB queries, HTTP calls, file reads, calculators, anything. First is we define the tool's name, description in input schema. Here with Claude as an agentic tool, we have defined it as an MCP server with arguments this and command equal to this. Now my agentic tool basically reads this description and reason about when to use it, and then my agentic loop calls the tool with arguments and we execute it. So here we are showing a Claude as an agentic tool. So Claude, I write that look up the account status for whoever emailed support@acme.com. Now it plans and understands that we have to call search customer with this email ID, name and status, because it is a customer lookup, and it figures out that the account is active and the result is returned to us. So basically Claude read the tool description, decided a lookup was needed and called it with the right argument. There was no hard coded logic. Now moving to another example for a support ticket. This is also example of agent loop. Payment failed for order has 4821, right? So I write this in Claude. So what it does is, it's step 1, Claude reads the ticket, payment failed for order has 4821. Second is Claude called tools, get order, order ID equal to this. So this is a tool, and then it observes that order exists, status equal to payment failed. Then Claude calls another tool, that get payment details with order ID equal to this and this. Then it observes that card is declined, insufficient funds. Then Claude basically calls another tool, send email with customer ID and template, and then Claude calls the second tool, that close ticket with ticket ID and resolution is retry email sent. So basically in the end the goal achieved, that ticket is closed. So this is an agent loop which is created in Claude, and Claude execute. If a payment fails for an order, it will send the email with the reason why it has failed, and then it will close the ticket. So there is nothing here which is hard coded, and Claude decided a sequence based on what it observed in each step. So this is an example of an agentic loop. Now to summarize what is agentic AI, we can say that it is not a chatbot, not RAG. It's a loop which is plan, act, observe and repeat. The model decides the next step, you define the boundaries. Second is tools are what gives agent power. So we describe capabilities. Now my agent decides when to use them. Description quality is the single biggest lever. Third is your job shifts. So here my job is from writing logic to designing capabilities and constraint. Good tool design matters more than clever code.